On a cold night about 3 years ago, in a small office space, I sat around, huddled around a computer with my startup colleagues in deep anticipation. We had just launched the downloadable version of an operating system that we'd started. It enabled you to put your Android mobile apps on a desktop and experience it. We wondered if people would use this product in different countries around the world. Within a week, we had over 1 million people in over 180 countries use this product. Eventually, it was integrated into Chrome OS, which is used by hundreds of millions of people. Our group of entrepreneurs was not here in Silicon Valley, nor in the United States. We were in a developing country. We were in Beijing, China. And that really inspired me when I looked back on that night, because I myself am from a developing country. You see, 10 years ago, I moved from my home country of Zimbabwe to China, initially planning to spend 1 year learning how to read, write, and speak Mandarin. When I landed in China and saw the remarkable innovation that was there, I decided that that was the place that I had to be. And I said to myself, Tawanda, you need to stay here in China to make that happen and be part of it. You see, the image I had in my mind of innovation was Hewlett-Packard in a Palo Alto garage a few miles from here, making technology that would start in Silicon Valley and trickle down to the rest of the world. And the world is changing. This used to be the only place where you could get opportunities to start an innovative tech company. What I've realized is that genius is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. There was genius in a Hungarian boy who survived the Holocaust and a communist dictatorship to come to the United States and become the founding CEO of Intel, and the greatest manager in a generation, Andy Grove. There was genius in a Russian Jewish boy whose family was persecuted in the 1970s and came here to seek refuge, and eventually co-founded Google, Sergey Brin. There was genius in a South African dreamer who came here, dropped out of his Stanford PhD in 2 days, and eventually co-founded PayPal, becoming today one of the boldest and most iconic entrepreneurs, Elon Musk. Even in Steve Jobs, whose father moved here from Syria. Countless Chinese and Indian entrepreneurs and engineers have been the bedrock of talent in Silicon Valley for the last few decades, because this was the only place where you could find opportunity to build a great tech company. Genius is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. Yet again, the world is changing. More and more springs of innovation are rising up in places of the world that used to be deserts of poverty and backwardness. We're able to see that over the next few years, the next billion people coming online for the first time are not going to be in Western Europe or North America. They'll be in emerging markets throughout Asia, Africa, and Latin America. We'll see a huge middle class emerging from rural, as people migrate from rural to urban areas, to megacities in Jakarta, Indonesia, and Delhi, India, and Sao Paulo, Brazil, as well as Lagos, Nigeria. In all these places, many talented people will be able to stay at home and build the entrepreneurial dreams that they could only build here. We look as well at how ideas can crop up in the most unexpected of places. Growing up in Zimbabwe, it was very clear to me that we would save on gas by sharing rides with each other. We would invite strangers into our cars so that they would be able to hop in a ride and give us a small amount of money, and together we'd bring down the overall cost of the ride. This is commonplace in my country. Over a decade ago, an American entrepreneur named Logan Green visited Zimbabwe, saw that this is the way that we got around, and was inspired to come back to the United States and launch ZimRide, a startup that provided a carpooling service for students who at the end of the school year could share rides to go home. This team and idea evolved into Lyft, the ride-sharing application that many of us use, and just this industry of more than hundreds of billions of dollars that's taken over the world. Just by a show of hands, how many of us have used Lyft or Uber over the last month? How many of us knew that the idea was germinated in a small Southern African country? Not as many as I thought, yeah. As we can see, ideas crop up in the most unexpected of places. A couple of years ago, I had the fortune of working with many entrepreneurs who realized the unique opportunities that come in emerging markets. I ran a startup accelerator called Beijing Tech Hive that invested in early-stage entrepreneurs in the mobile internet. These entrepreneurs were able to see that in this world that we live in, a new paradigm of making products for and with users needs to come into place. It was by a Chinese entrepreneur that one of the most popular US apps for teenagers today, TikTok, was started. It required someone who realized what it really means to be mobile first, to have never had another product, to have never had a desktop or laptop as the only channel to the internet. Our world is changing much, much faster than we realize. In parts of the world that we used to say lacked opportunity, there'll continue to be ways that entrepreneurs, regardless of where they are, can make a new future and create new innovation for us. I don't dare say that Silicon Valley is no longer the eminent center of innovation in the world. It is, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And there's no question that the United States has created one of the greatest engines of starting and nurturing new businesses that the world has ever known. But we're able to see that different parts of the world are launching other opportunities and hotbeds of innovation that continue to be there. And we have a choice to make. We can continue to overinvest in highly expensive startups that can't even afford a garage, as those Hewlett-Packard entrepreneurs were able to do. Or we could direct our capital to parts of the world that desperately need just that to take advantage of their genius and their innovation. We could continue to believe that all great ideas will come from this rich ecosystem of Stanford, Silicon Valley, and the United States. Or we could realize that if we open our minds and are intellectually humble, that more and more ideas can spring out of these places. It is, after all, at a time now today when we celebrate Apple Pay and Android Pay as the latest innovation in payments, that we realize that it was over a decade and a half ago that in East Africa, where we lacked traditional banking branches to provide to our rural communities, we had no option but to leapfrog to mobile banking, which is now commonplace. We have an opportunity to open our minds to opportunities and ideas that come from places that are traditionally despised and considered as backward. If you are a dreamer or an innovator, regardless of where you are, you can, in this world that's highly connected, start something right from scratch. The era of trickle-down technology is over. Thank you.